Masculine strength isn't just about avoiding emotions, it's about mastering them. I'm Dominique DeVita, Tantra and intimacy coach and registered nurse. And in this video, I'll break down why balancing masculine and feminine energy is essential for your power, confidence, and relationships. If you've ever felt emotionally disconnected, struggled with intimacy, or wondered why relationships feel out of sync, this will change the way you see everything. Drop a comment below and let me know. Have you ever felt like something was blocking your emotional or intimate connections? Let's dive in. First, I'm going to share about the patriarchy and the patriarchy's view of feminine energy and why men are conditioned to reject traits like intuition, emotional intelligence, and softness from others because they reject these traits and these abilities within themselves. Women will also suppress their feminine energies to avoid being seen as weak in professional spaces, to not be harassed by others and have unwanted attention. When you think about our structures in our world, so many businesses, corporations were created with very masculine structures, especially within the patriarchy. So when women want to be taken serious in these spaces, they will lean heavy into the masculine energy. And we sometimes spend more time at work than at home or relaxing. It can be challenging to switch that button back and be able to connect into our feminine. We've also been subconsciously programmed to believe that our feminine energy is a weakness, but it's actually a superpower when you can tap into this. Men receive more negative messaging about feminine energy and feminine traits, and men are the XY chromosome. So they're even more of a balance of masculine and feminine energies than women are, but they're trying to repress that. And repressing and suppressing can lead to depression. The antidote for that is through expression and be able to express yourself fully and have the balance. I want you to think of the yin yang symbol and the duality and the nature of being fully embodied in both your masculine and feminine energy. But for men, from a very young age, you're conditioned to not connect with your emotions. Big boys don't cry, to toughen up. And then when you want to have a relationship with women, it can be challenging because women, we're very emotional creatures and we want to have that emotional connection, that deeper intimacy. This can feel so foreign after spending decades of disconnecting from your emotions and kind of just moving forward and pushing through challenges for men. And since men view feminine energy as weakness, they'll do everything in their power to repress that part of themselves and express themselves in more of a masculine energy. So they may be very much into joining the military or into sports to really show up in kind of a hyper masculine way while pushing these other aspects away from themselves because it makes them uncomfortable. This can create a toxic imbalance within the person and within society itself because this is part of who you are in your essence. And anything about ourselves that we try to disconnect from, we're actually weakening our power and we're not fully embracing all of the gifts that we have. And if we disconnect this part of ourselves, we won't realize that we're really disconnecting this too. And we see it in others because others are just mirrors and they're showing us things that we're uncomfortable with in ourselves. And so if we're not comfortable being in our feminine energy and the magic within the feminine traits like intuition, emotional intelligence, and other gifts, then whenever we see that energy in other people, we'll reject that. It won't feel comfortable to us because we're not comfortable with it in ourselves. We don't know how to embody that. And on a subconscious level, you'll be rejecting the feminine women or feminine aspects of other people because you're not comfortable with it. Suppressing this energy creates emotional repression, stress related illnesses, and disconnection from intimacy. We can only meet our lover's emotions as deeply as we met our own. And when we disconnect from certain aspects of ourselves and emotions, we won't be able to have that deeper connection within relationship. Men are not aware that repressing that feminine energy hurts them as well. It leads to loneliness and depression. And right now we are in a rise of a loneliness epidemic within men. There's fear of vulnerability and intimacy. And these things are needed to have healthy relationships and have your relationships thrive. And then relationship struggles due to emotional distance because you're going to kind of push your partner away, even though you desire them or may love them, but you're not comfortable expressing those emotions or feeling those emotions. And you may feel like it feels too sappy or too weak, or I don't want to be vulnerable. I've got to be strong. I've got to be the tough guy, the protector. But those things are sometimes coming from our egoic selves and not our higher selves. And those things can keep us disconnected again from ourselves and from those that we love the most. Another thing is suppressing the feminine energy weakens your sexual energy, causing challenges with your stamina, passion, and your satisfaction in your relationships. Marie Louise von Franz, a Jungian psychologist who also worked with Carl Jung, explained that when a man doesn't integrate his anima, which is also his inner feminine energy, he unconsciously projects this rejection onto women as well. This leads to seeing women as either goddesses to be idealized or threats to be feared from one extreme to the next. In Tantra, there's two energies that represent the divine feminine and masculine energies, and this is Shiva and Shakti. Now, who is Shiva? Shiva is a masculine principle in Tantra, and it connects to stillness, consciousness, and deep presence. Shiva also represents focused awareness, stability, and purpose. Shakti is the feminine principle in Tantra, movement, sensuality, creativity, life force energy. It represents passion, emotion, intuition, and flow. And for a man to be an incredible lover, it is so important for them to be connected to how they're moving their body, to their sensuality, and to be able to be passionate lovers and flow within the sexual energies and desires that are playing between yourself and the one that you're connecting with. There are ways that we tap into these energies. When a man embodies Shiva, he is deeply present, unshaken, and grounded. And when a man is able to hold this space and as their partner be able to relax into their feminine energy more, because it's really important for the feminine essence to emerge, to feel safe. And when a man is unshaken and grounded in his energy, that's when the woman can open up and surrender because she feels that level of safety. When a man embraces the Shakti energy, he also unlocks more creativity, emotional depth, and connection. Suppressing either one creates imbalance, inner turmoil, and relationship struggles. I want to give you this example of masculine and feminine energy. I want you to think of a river flowing with water. Now, the water that is flowing through the river, that represents the feminine energy. The banks of the river represents masculine energy. Now, if the river did not have any banks for containment to create that safe structure, it wouldn't be able to flow so freely and in its fullness without creating disaster, without flooding everything. The river banks keep the safety and allow it to flow at full force without creating damage and really tapping more into creativity, into being in flow, and to being able to surrender and relax and let go. Because what is water doing when it's flowing? It's fully going forward and letting go. Now, some simple practices to start today are tantric breath work. And you can check out this breath of fire video that I have here that will guide you on a breathwork practice. And just even breathing deeply into your belly for Shiva energy is just a stillness and practice. And you can take a deep breath in and expand your belly with air like a balloon. Breathe in through your nose and just exhale through your mouth and just sit for a moment and connect to your breath. The inhale is the Shiva energy, and then the exhale, the flowing out, just like with the water, represents the Shakti, the movement, that release. This balances masculine and feminine energies instantly. When a woman is able to release and be more in her feminine, her pleasure will release more powerfully. This is where the deepest orgasms are going to happen, is whenever a woman is feeling really held safely by the masculine, his deep presence, his connection, his safety, and she can really allow her pleasure to flow without fearing of judgment or that he's not going to be able to hold her and keep her safe and sound. Some questions that you can ask yourself are, one, where do I reject my emotion? When uncomfortable emotions arise, where do I push them away without exploring them and diving into them? Where do I judge femininity in myself and in others? How can I integrate more flow, presence, and emotional depth into my life? Being able to balance these energies is so important to have passion and desire in your relationship. I want you to imagine a battery. And at one end of the battery has the positive charge and the other end has the negative charge. Not to say that these energies are negative or positive, but let's say that the masculine energy is positive charge, the feminine energy has a negative charge. You need both of those present to have that spark and that energy. A lot of times in relationships, both partners, especially when they've been cohabitating for a while, they tend to rest in the same energy because they're around each other so much. So they can both be resting in their masculine most of the time or in their feminine most of the time. And when this happens, you start to feel more like roommates than lovers. The passion kind of fizzles out. So to keep that passion alive, it's really important that we can have this dance between the masculine and feminine energy between the levers. This will ignite more passion and desire in your relationship. If this resonated with you, take my free Tantra intimacy quiz to discover where you might be blocking your energy and how to create deeper relationships. It's linked below in the description. If you're ready to dive deeper and master your masculine and feminine energy and take your intimacy and personal power to the next level, check out my online course, 6 Weeks to Tantra Mastery. Inside, I'll guide you to step through the ancient practices of Tantra that bring clarity, passion, and confidence into your life. Link in the description too. And of course, if you want personalized coaching, I offer limited one-to-one sessions and programs to dive deep into your personal energy and relationships. You can apply using the link in the description. If you found this valuable, let me know in the comments. What was your biggest takeaway? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss more videos to Tantra, intimacy, and personal transformation. Blessings.